We are staying on top of that breaking news out of the Middle East. The strike on Iran comes just days after diplomatic talks over Iran's nuclear and missile capabilities were held in Geneva between Iranian negotiators and U.S. Special Envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. Joining us now to make sense of this seismic moment in the Middle East is Professor Garret Martin with American University School of International Service. Professor Martin, thanks so much for being with us here tonight.
Thank you.
I wanted to start off with the president saying Iran's supreme leader has been killed. It's worth noting that Iran's state media is denying that at this point. But how massive is this for Iran and the possibility of a regime change?
Well, it's certainly a major shock. I think it's certainly a major outcome of the operation of Epic Fury that was launched today. But I would hasten at least some caution, because you've got to remember the supreme leader is an institution. It is elected by clerics. And so there is a possibility of a successor. And there are other important forces in Iran, and in particular, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. So I think you have to be careful that the death of Khamenei, as symbolic as it is, does not necessarily lead the regime to collapse instantaneously.
Professor Martin, what specifically will you be following in the hours and days ahead as you try to make sense of the ripple effects of this conflict?
I think there are three big areas that I will be paying attention to. One is, of course, on the military front. I mean, we know the abilities of the U.S. military and its allies is well documented. The extent to which they have been able to continue to degrade Iran's ability to respond will be important. How much damage can the U.S. do to the military infrastructure of Iran in a few days and limit any reprisals? I think the second big question is what happens domestically. The president has encouraged the Iranian people to rise up, but what will happen on the ground, and what will we see from major groups of opposition? And then thirdly, are there economic and political ripple effects? I mean, we know that Iran could threaten to affect some of the big maritime choke points, like the Straits of Hormuz. That could be very impactful across the world in terms of economics and trade. So these are three big items that I will be paying attention to.
And lastly, I wanted to ask about President Trump. He's described himself as the peace president, but now here is the U.S. attacking Iran, usurping the role of Congress. From a political standpoint, how do you think this impacts the president and the Republican Party?
I think it could have a significant impact because, you know, the president, as you mentioned, campaigned and presented himself as someone who could fix the economy and someone who would be a peacemaker. It may be hard to square what we're seeing today with that. I think the second element is within the America First coalition. I think you certainly have some individuals, you can think like Marjorie Taylor Greene in the past or Thomas Massie now, who don't understand the activist foreign policy as opposed to addressing domestic problems. And, you know, the midterm tends to be around, you know, economics and domestic politics. Will this actually change the current approval rating challenges that the president has faced so far?
There is still so much to follow, still so much to see. Professor Garret Martin with American University School of International Service, we really do appreciate your time and your perspective this evening.
Thank you, Mauricio. A pleasure.